Hello everyone, this is MykeCheck'd95 here with our prediction videos for UFC 256 2.0, and I'm here with my partner in crime, who does not look like he just woke up from a nap. Krieger Margin. Now before we get into the predictions, I would like to mention to everyone that we do have our social media outlets all set up and ready to go. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all under MykeCheck'd Productions, or on Twitter it's at @DMykeCheck. I don't know why. But those links will be in the description below. So be sure to check us out on all three of those. And let's get on to the predictions of 256 2.0.
Now, just as a disclaimer, we are not regular UFC fans. So you may notice things we say don't make sense or they're incredibly stupid. We'll learn it over time. So hopefully it's cool.
Hopefully. Just don't be harsh on us. Because again, we're not avid fans. I'm not an avid fan because I haven't sat down and watched UFC for a very long time.
And we may mispronounce some of these names. Especially with these premier fights. So we won't dive too deep into the prelims on our thoughts because they're obviously prelims and the young talent. So we're going to go with some picks. We've previously looked at all these stats and everything. You guys can look for yourself on there. If you actually go to the UFC page that we posted on that one comment section, it has a lot of information, breaks down their strike percentage, and a whole bunch of cool stats.
We will also post that link in the description box below if you want to look at that yourself, in case you want to go all the way to Facebook. But again, do check us out on Facebook. Okay,
so we're going to look at the first match, and it is going to be Giagos.
Here we go, the name butchering it starts.
Versus Carlton Minus. So I'm going to go with the pick of Giagos Maganos. After we looked at his stats and everything, I feel like he has a...
I honestly agreed too with that as well. Giagos or whatever, because just the way how everything mapped out for him on his history, it seemed like he could do well. I do not count Minus out, but just based off like looking at these numbers, Giagos has our vote in the predictions. But the next fight that's going to be on the preliminary rounds is Jimmy Flick versus Cody Durden. I think I picked Flick.
I picked Flick solely based on his haircut.
Solely based on the hair? I at least looked at the stats. You're just like, I like his hair.
He's a legendary bowl cut.
Legendary bowl cut. So, remember, I picked out because of stats. He's picking out because, they look good.
And his odds put him at -160 compared to the +140 for Burden. So, odds are he's going to win. Yeah, I'll take those. Typhoon Nkukuhan versus Jamie Pickett.
Typhoon versus Pickett. I picked Pickett, didn't I?
Yes,
yeah,
I picked Typhoon.
Typhoon?
Yeah.
If you can pronounce that name 3 times fast, your prediction pick will be entered into the system.
Right, and to the women's match, we have Jillian Robertson and Talia Santos. I do remember this one. I think this is going to be a good fight. Probably one of the... I'd say this is probably going to be the second best primo fight. So I'm going to go with Santos on this one.
I had a hard time deciding because it's just based off the stats I was looking at. They both looked really similar, and like the one person was good at one thing, but the other person was good at the other, so it kind of balanced it out and whatnot. But I think I went for Santos as well. Yeah, I went for Santos.
So if we look based off style, I know last pay-per-view last weekend we saw a similar setup where we had one person that was really good in striking and one person that was really good in boxing, and that's usually a slugfest. They'll either keep to one, but the last one we had was they both just did stand up and just fucking stood there and swung all fight.
The next one we have is Winn versus Antonio Arroyo. I butchered that last name. You picked Winn on this one, didn't you?
Yes, this is one of the fights where one of the fighters got COVID, and it was a last-minute change on that one. So, and it's a catchweight bout, which I'm not super familiar with those, so I don't know what the weight class is.
But you said you knew who Winn was, right?
Yes, yeah, I've seen Winn before. He's done a little bit, so I don't know anything about the other guys. So we'll see.
Again, our picks are not really experienced until we get to a couple more UFC shows. So cut us some slack, please.
Or if we go to our main card, we've seen at least some of our main card people before.
Yeah, so, at least. Just keep in mind, the last time I watched UFC, Chuck Liddell was almost a step into retirement. So there's an idea the last time I watched UFC.
Mm-hmm.
Sajara Eubanks versus Kianzad.
Panini. Kianzad.
I picked Eubanks because, again, I looked off the stats and everything.
So this one, I looked purely based on looks for this one because they were really close when I looked at the stats, in my opinion. And Eubanks just looked terrifying to me. The weird under boob tattoos are kind of cool with the other chick, but
weird boob tattoos.
Under boob. Look, it's on her rib cage.
Oh, I promise all of our predictions aren't going to be this goofy. It's just we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it might be a little bit different when we're covering wrestling tomorrow.
Yeah.
This one is going to be the main event of the prelims, and I'm actually really surprised this one was put on prelims because they have it's Anthony Pettis and it's Alex Morono.
Pettis is fighting McGregor next month, isn't he?
Yes, and Pettis is very good, and so is Morono. I just don't see it.
You don't see him losing?
I don't see him losing. I think it's gonna be a one-round fight with him. He's got to be.
I strictly only voted for Paris because I kind of want him to have like the momentum going into McGregor's fight. That way it doesn't look bad going up against McGregor.
And I normally don't like voting like round by round, but I know sometimes there's betting with that. I'm going to say it's a first round knockout TKO for Pettis.
Is this the only one you're saying for a first round?
Yeah. I really think that's going to be a first round knockout.
Now we're going to get into the main card now. Our first main event match is Marcin Tybura versus Greg Hardy. I think I picked Tybura because, again, it just seemed like with the stats they provided for him, I felt like he kind of had the upper hand. Well, you said it was Greg, but...
Yeah, because I've seen two reasons. I've seen Greg Hardy fight in the past, and he's pretty above average. And number two, being a wrestling fan and the Hardy thing.
Next one is Moraes versus Rob Font.
Yeah, this is the one that was straight up really close on all sides. I mean, the only thing that I really gave it to was Font has a much better reach advantage at 72.
Oh, yeah, 67 to 71.5. Yeah, that's a monkey limb reach.
Yeah, other than that, their stats are pretty much identical. Small advantages in grappling as well for Font. So I'm going to give it to him. I don't think this is going to be a one-sided affair for this one. I think it's going to be a good fight.
I also picked Font as well, pretty much for the same reasons of what he said and everything.
So we got our last three fights, and I think these three fights are all going to be amazing. So we were first looking into this other fighter. It's Michael Pereira Lima versus Chaos Williams. Looking at some highlights of Michael Pereira, I've wanted to say, yeah, he's going to win. Until I looked at the stats. And number one, Chaos Williams, he's 10-1. I looked at his stats as well, and I don't know what Chaos does, but his significant strikes is the most of anybody on this entire card. Most people have like 3 or 4, maybe 7 significant strikes per minute, which is pretty good. His stats are almost 23 significant strikes, and that's 58% of his strikes that he shoots are that. In 11 fights, only lost one before. 33.33 knockdown average per 15 minutes.
The main reason is that like I went for Michael instead of Chaos is one, I was really impressed by what he does from what he showed me in a video, and mainly two is so that a lot of our predictions aren't like the same person. That way there's a difference here and there, and I feel like this is a good one where we can pick 2 different guys and actually go into it.
I want to like Michael Pereira a lot, so hopefully I get surprised. Somebody with that good of stats, he's got to be fantastic.
Second to last battle on the main card is Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera. I picked Vera on this one. I don't remember exactly why I picked Vera, but I know I picked him earlier because we did look over these a couple hours ago.
So this will actually be a co-main event for the night. And I went with Vera as well because I noticed the last 3 pay-per-view events we've had some kind of old fighter.
Oh yeah, that's why you said that.
And they never do well. Now Jose Aldo is a freaking legend, so he could pull out the win. I know Vera is very good as well. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I'm interested to see how Jose pulls. The final match and the main event for tonight, which is I find very interesting, and it was really hard for me to call this, It's going to be Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson versus Geoff Neal. They're both very good. I really, really, really like Wonder Boy's style with their karate and everything. Getting random spin kick knockouts all the time. So he's one of the most technical stand-up fighters in the entire UFC, yet along the division.
From what I've seen too, yeah.
And Geoff Neal's explosive, and he's got some really good knockouts. I called it Wonder Boy winning.
You said Wonder Boy?
Yeah.
I feel like for how close the fight might be and how good these two individuals are, I kind of went for a ballsy move and said it was going to be a tie. Like, I wouldn't be upset if either of these guys won, but I would probably I wouldn't be surprised if there was a tie and they went through all 3 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at the base stats, their reach and leg reach are pretty much identical. Weight, their height's pretty similar. Like, they're pretty even across the board. Even stat-wise, they're very even. I wouldn't give either one an edge over the other.
Do you think they did that on purpose to make how good the fight's going to be in the main event?
Yeah, and especially this is the last card of the year. Before the new year, so they want to go out with a bang. So I feel like this is a good opportunity.
I wouldn't have been mad if they would have ended the last show with the last fight.
Yeah, holy shit, that fight was amazing. The champion that retained, he just did 2 gigantic fights in a row, so he's going to take a couple months off.
Yeah, and you said I heard you said something about him going to the hospital right after, but I'm pretty sure he's out by now.
Yeah, he was hospitalized for like 2 days afterwards because of the injuries. And his opponent, the challenger, he
it looked like he broke his forearm, but he actually messed up his shoulder or something like that, or got knocked out of like place or something.
I think they'll both recover and they'll be fine for the next fight. And their fight's probably going to be even more intense on the next one. So I'm really looking forward to that. I would expect to see that probably like 2 or 3 months down the line. So, because they're going to want to have big fight camps and promote it.
Well, that is our predictions of UFC 256 2.0 and our tiny little discussion of the last main event from 256 1.0. Our next video will be the prediction video for WWE TLC.
And don't forget to join us tomorrow night. We're going to do an experimental watch party.
Yeah.
Live streaming the event. Now, it's going to be like a fight companion. We are not going to stream the actual fight because copyright issues, but we're going to be watching it, and you'll see our live reactions, and we can talk about things as we're watching it. It's going to be streamed on our Facebook, and then we'll just hang out with you guys. We'll probably start that during the main card. We won't do it about the prelims.
We'll probably have you discuss the prelims like during the main card in between or whatever.
Yeah, we'll probably open up with some of the stuff.
Live stream watch party tomorrow night for UFC, and our prediction video for TLC will be up before Sunday morning. Again, I am not thrilled for TLC, but you know what they say, the show's gotta go on when the show's gotta go on. But this has been another video by MykeCheck'd Productions, hosted by MykeCheck'd 95 and my partner in crime,
Krieger Margin.
signing out.